to discover more about the virus and how it affects people and the channels of infections and trying their best to stop it.
The U.S. has offered repeatedly to send CDC experts, American experts, to help out. Why does Beijing continue to ignore those offers?
I don't think it's been ignored. First of all, we have...
You haven't said yes.
Well, we welcome the American experts to participate in our efforts. And we are coordinating with the World Health Organization because a lot of things under the auspices of the Health Organization. We certainly welcome American experts to join the actual group that the WHO is assembling. And I'm sure they will be going to China very soon.
You expect Americans to be there as part of the WHO, but you don't want the CDC there?
First of all, American experts are on the list recommended by the WHO. We certainly respect, I think all of us respect the WHO as the most professional intergovernmental body in the world. And for the US CDC, they have very frequent, regular contact with his counterpart, the CDC. And even beyond that, some American operated on their own basis. So they're ongoing contacts, not only between the two governments, but also between the two CDCs and between the academic institutions, and even some American companies are also offering help, technical help.
Well, I asked the question because it also gets at, there's a lot of unknown and a lot of suspicion because of that. And in fact, this week, Senator Tom Cotton, who sits on the Senate Intelligence and Armed Services Committee, suggested that the virus may have come from China's biological warfare program. That's an extraordinary charge. How do you respond to that?
I think it's true that a lot is still unknown. And our scientists, Chinese scientists, American scientists, scientists of other countries are doing their best to learn more about the virus. But it's very harmful, it's very dangerous to stir up suspicion, rumors, and spread on the people. I think this will create panic. Another thing is that it will fan up racial discrimination, xenophobia, all these things will really harm our joint efforts to combat the virus. All kinds of speculation and rumors come from some military lab, not maybe in the United States. How can we?
You think it's crazy? Where did the virus come
Absolutely
from?
crazy.
Where did the virus come from?
We still don't know yet. It's probably, according to some initial outcome of the research, probably coming from some animals. But we have to discover more about it.
There has been some outcry on social media after the death of Dr. Li Wenliang. He had made public warnings for weeks before the government acknowledged this was happening. In fact, authorities had forced him to disavow what he had said previously, which turned out to be true. The Communist Party of China is now investigating this. Why?
Well, we are all very saddened about the death of Dr. Li. He is a good doctor. He was a devoted doctor, and he did his to protect people's health. Well, but you see, he was a doctor, and a doctor could be alarmed by some individual cases. But as for the government, you have to do more. You have to base your decisions, your announcement on more solid evidence and science.
Would you think silencing him in the beginning was a mistake?
I don't know who tried to silence him, but there was certainly disagreement, or people were not able to reach agreement on what exactly the virus is, how it is affecting people. So there was a process of trying to do more about the virus. Maybe some people reacted not quickly enough. Dr. Li, he perceived some incoming dangers earlier than others. But this could happen anywhere. But whenever we find there's some shortcoming, we'll do our best to correct it.
Have Chinese authorities detained the citizen journalist Chen Chishu? He has disappeared, and his videos revealed a lot of what was happening with this virus.
I'm sorry, I have never heard of this guy, so I don't have any information to share with you.
His videos are how the rest of the world has seen some of the images of what's happening. I want to also ask you quickly, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo gave an extraordinary speech yesterday to a number of governors from all around the United States, and he harshly criticized the Chinese Communist Party, and he said that your country is targeting states, cities, schools, academic institutions to try to figure out how to exploit them. What exactly is the intention of the Chinese government? Because the Secretary of State says it's not good.
I always believe the real foundation of China-US relations is the friendship and mutual understanding between our peoples. So this is the root of state-to-state relations. And there's such an enthusiasm among American states, cities and towns, and ordinary Americans to learn more about China, to develop friendship with Chinese people, to facilitate cooperation between the two countries. I don't think anybody has any reason to against the will of the people.
Well, he specifically referenced concentration camps in Xinjiang. He talked about American institutions inadvertently investing in surveillance of Muslim minorities. Do you want to respond to that point?
That's totally wrong. That's totally wrong. Because the core issue in Xinjiang is how to combat terrorism. You see, some years ago, until most recently, people in Xinjiang were victims to rising terrorist attacks. There were thousands of such attacks, hurting and even killing hundreds of thousands of people. So we have to do something to stop this threat to the very well-being and the lives of the people there.
Okay.
So with our tremendous efforts, now for the last 3 years, there's been no such terrorist attack. So people have a much better safety there, security there, and people are happy there.
All right, Ambassador, thank you for telling your side of the story. We will be right back with new numbers from our CBS News Battleground Tracker. Pretty substantial interviews. Jeffrey, the Chinese ambassador, at the tail end of our interview, said people in Xinjiang, China, are very happy. To be clear, the U.S. government says there are between 1 and 3 million Muslim minorities in camps. The Pentagon's called them concentration camps.
Right.
How do we, knowing that kind of denial of what is established fact, how do we understand everything he told us?
Well, what you have to understand is that the Chinese government is lying about the nature of what's happening in these camps. When you take between 1 and 3 million people of a particular ethnic group against their will and concentrate them in prison camps for re-education, it seems like a fair thing to say that that's a concentration camp. The Chinese ambassador is arguing that the people are happy. I would simply suggest that you should let the international media in to these camps, and we'll go ask them ourselves.
I will take them up on that.
Yeah, I mean, we're on a panel road trip.
Yes, there we go. It is. I wanted to make sure we didn't leave that there. Jerry, I want to pick up with you on some of what we heard from Senator Graham as well. That the president sent that tweet right as this show went on the air. It was directly aimed at one of our guests who he knew was going to be appearing. What did you make of what Lindsey Graham said he was willing to do and what the president seemed to be asking him to do?
Well, I think, first of all, we're at a kind of an awkward transition point here in which we're moving beyond impeachment and beyond the Mueller report potentially, but the president doesn't really want to. He wants some retribution. You saw that over the weekend with the firing of witnesses. And he wants to know who's the whistleblower, and he wants the Bidens investigated. And I think Lindsey Graham was saying, hold on, let's not go down that path. Don't turn me into the Republican Party's Christopher Steele, as you said here. And so I think you have the emergence of some tension within the Trump coalition about whether we really want to continue going down this path, or whether maybe it's time to declare victory and move on.
Leslie, I mean, doesn't that get back at the heart of what this impeachment inquiry was about, which was this question of things being aimed with taxpayer dollars at actually being part of a political opposition research arm rather than what they are officially called.
Well, that's particularly the case with FISA, right? And the president has strong grounds to stand on when he was saying that there